when I grew up, the doctor would come to the house, and there was never talk about money. It all seemed to just flow out of goodness. It's very different today.
Mm-hmm. So you think the focus of doctors in general has shifted not from patients but to money?
And I think it's because of the insurance companies. A lot of it is about the money. Mm-hmm. When you see a doctor, not all of them, but many of them are reading their computer and there's no eye contact. I'm assuming they're reading my history. Maybe they just don't know who I am anymore. I don't know. There's just no eye contact.
Do you have any kind of tips or tricks you use to kind of prepare for an appointment with a medical provider in advance?
Bring somebody with you.
Bring somebody with you.
My daughter, yes. If she hears I'm going to a specialist, she's right there. That's that, and she takes notes, and she converses with them. If the doctor needs some information, I don't have the burden of giving it to him because she's already got it in her phone. Absolutely is bring somebody with you because you really don't hear or retain what they're saying because most of the time they're pretty much in a hurry. I tend to go for blood work the week before I go to the doctor, thinking he has that information and I don't have to wait for a nurse to call me and tell me that I'm still alive. And I thought, and this way he knows more about me when I walk in than he would if I hadn't gotten my blood work done.
Mm-hmm. If you had a direct line of communication to medical providers and you could tell them one thing about how to improve their communication with senior patients or just improve the senior patient experience in general, what would you tell them?
One time my granddaughter came with me and she looked at my doctor and she said, my grandmother needs a handicap sticker for her car.
Right.
And he said, okay, I'll write out a script. And then she said, and my grandmother isn't hearing me as well as she should be. And he wrote out a script for me to go to a hearing doctor. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, I would never have asked for those things. So I think somehow they have to find out what their patients need, rather than just what their readings are.
You think they should not only worry about, the numbers they have on their screen, mm-hmm. but they should also have more of a consideration for what is the patient telling me and also what am I observing about the patient. Right, past just what the results show. So generally speaking, it feels like they almost need to know their crowd better, right? To know the people better, right? Like what to expect from senior mm-hmm. patients rather mm-hmm. than all the other patients they mm-hmm. see. Doctors seem these days to be very pressured into rushing through patients and have a very high turnover rate. Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for a senior patient who feels like they're being rushed?
Ask them to see pictures of their grandchildren. No, seriously, that's what I do. They take out their phones and they show me. It's a more human contact thing. It makes me feel more comfortable.
So you sort of use it as a kind of a olive branch in a way to kind of connect with them so you feel like you're able to kind of talk about what's happening with you more.
Just friendlier with each other. I'm more of a human being, I think is what happens. It just means that I feel more comfortable with them because I've made that kind of contact.
What do you think is the most important skill a doctor can have then?
Aside from what they teach them about medicine, they have to teach them about humanity.